Okay, let's have a look at topic 5, ratio and percents. Alright, first of all, let's have a look at some basic ratio problems. The ratio of two quantities actually tells us the relative sizes of the quantities. For example, if we say that the ratio of the number of dogs at a pet store to the number of cats is 2 to 3, we basically mean that for every 2 dogs there are 3 cats, right? In other words, the number of dogs divided by the number of cats or over the number of cats equals 2 over 3, right? Notice that the ratio does not tell us how many dogs, cats, or even total animals there are. We only know that for every 2 dogs, there are exactly 3 cats. We only know a ratio, a fraction, right? Okay, so let's have a look at some example questions related to the ratios. For example, this one, the ratio of boys to girls in math class is 3 to 4. There are 84 students in the class. How many girls are there in the classroom? I'll give you 1 minute to think about it. And then we'll have a look at the solution together, okay? Okay, also note that we often write ratios as fractions, but sometimes we also use a column to denote the ratio. So 3 over 4 can also be written as 3 over 4 here. Both of them are correct, okay? Alright, let's have a look at the solution together. So usually we could use some letter to denote the variables here. So for example, we could let B be the number of boys. And let G be the number of girls. Then we have B over G is given to be 3 over 4, right? We are also given that the sum of B and G is 84. So basically you have 2 variables and 2 equations, which we can solve B and G, right? So we could use either substitution or elimination method. So from the first equation, we could have 4b equals 3g, right? And this gives us b equals 3 over 4g, right? And let's call this number 3. Then you can actually insert number 3 into equation number 2. This gives you b is 3 4 over g. So this will help us eliminate b there, right? Plus another g equals 84. Therefore, we have 7 over 4g equals 84, and this solves g is 84 times 4 over 7, which is 48, right? So let's call this number 4, and you could insert equation number 4 into equation number 3. This gives you b equals 3 over 4 times 48, which is 36. Well, actually you don't need B, right? You only need G, so you can actually stop there. If you need B, you can use this method to solve B, right? Therefore, we know there are 48 girls. Okay, have a look at the solution here and let me know if you have any questions, okay? Alright, if you don't have any questions, let's consider another question here. So if 9 out of every 11 dentists in my city say you shouldn't eat candy, and the rest says it's okay to eat candy, 18 dentists in my city say that it's okay to eat candy. How many dentists are there in my city? Okay, again, this is a straightforward question, right? So suppose we use X to denote the number of dentists in my city. Then we have X minus 18 over X equals 9 over 11, right? And cross multiplication gives us 11 times X minus 18 equals 9X. And of course here we can solve X is 99, which means there are 99 dentists in my city, right? So usually you should give your readers the meaning of any letter you use here. So we don't have X in the question, so you should tell your readers what X means here, okay? So I'm not gonna write all of this, you should write this by yourself, okay? And again, you should make a final conclusion here. There are 99 dentists in my city, okay? Do not just write the steps in the middle because nobody would know if you don't tell them what X means, okay? Alright, if no questions, let's consider another one. Consider a pet store in which the ratio of dogs to cats to mice is 2 to 3 to 30. Dogs, cats, and mice are the only animals in the store. If there are 385 animals in the store, how many cats are there in the store? Okay, Ben has just finished. How about Jacob? Have you finished?
Wait.
Alright, if you finish, give me an answer in the chat box, okay? Alright, so basically we have the number of cats over the number of all animals is 3 over 35, right? And we know that the number of all animals is 385. So of course you can solve the number of cats, right? That means 35 times the number of cats. Well, of course you could use letter X to denote that, which is 3 by 385, right? Therefore x equals 3 by 385 over 35, and that's 3 by 11, which is 33. Therefore, there are 33 cats, right? Again, very straightforward question. All right, I guess you don't have any questions here, so let's have a look at the next one, which are more challenging ratio problems. So a person named Olacto has a bag that holds only green marbles and red marbles. Ratio of green marbles to the total number of marbles in the bag is 2/5. If this person adds 2 green marbles and takes out 10 red marbles, there will be twice as many green marbles in the bag as red marbles. How many marbles were there in the original bag? If you complete it, please give me your answer in the chat box, okay? Well, in order to facilitate our discussion, we could use letter G to denote green marbles, and let R to denote the number of red marbles, okay? In the original bag. Are you sure, Ben? Is it 21 or 30? Okay, Jacob, if you finish, please give me your answer in chat box, okay? All right, let's have a look at solution together. So according to given information, if G is the number of green marbles, R is the number of red marbles in the original bag, we know that number of green marbles to the total number of marbles in the original bag, which is G plus R, right, should equal 2/5 according to the first sentence. And after that, if the person adds 2 green marbles, take out 10 red marbles, there will be twice as many green marbles in bag as red marbles. That means the ratio between green marbles in the new setup, which is G plus 4, over the red marbles now, which is R minus 10, is 2:1, right? 2:1 is actually 2. Again, you have 2 variables, 2 unknown variables, and 2 equations. We should be able to solve both G and R, right? So first of all, let's simplify the system. By cross multiplication, the first one gives us 2g plus 2r equals 5g. So basically, that is 3g minus 2r equals 0. The second equation is 2r minus 20 equals g plus 4, right? That corresponds to g minus 2r equals negative 24, right? And let's call this equation number 1 and 2. Then you could use equation number 1 minus equation number 2. This will give you 2g equals 24, and g is 12, right? Then you could insert equation number 3 into equation number 2. This will give you 12 minus 2r equals negative 24, and then 2r equals 36, and of course r equals 18, right? Therefore, we know g plus r equals 30. That means we have 30 marbles in the original bag, right? Did you get it? So it's not 21, but 30, right? Then okay, have a look at the solution here and let me know if you have any questions, okay? Alright, if you don't have any questions, let's see the next one. So what is the ratio of x to y if you are given an equation like this? Again, if you have the answer, please give me your answer in the chat box, okay? Have you finished? Then, check off. Have you finished? So it asks you to find the ratio of x to y, right? Basically, you need to find what is x over y, right? If you are only given one equation but two variables, usually it's not very realistic to find all of the two variables, but still you can find the ratios, right? So here, by cross multiplication, we have 5 times 10x minus 3y should equal 3 times 13x minus 2y, right? And reorganize it, we have 50x minus 15y equals 39x minus 6y. And separate x and y gives us 11x equals 9y. So x over y should equal 9 over 11. So the ratio of x to y is 9 to 11, right? Did you get it? Now, do you have any questions? Okay, if no questions, let's have a look at the next one. So what is, if x over y is 2 over 3 and y over z is 7 over 5, then what is the ratio of z to x? Again, if you finish, please give me your answer in the chat box, okay? All right, let's have a look at the solution together. Actually, we can use two different methods to solve it. First, we could use substitution method. So we can use our two given equations to solve for x and for z, each in terms of y, right? And then substitute these into z over x. Remember, we want to find z over x, right? So first, z can be represented by in terms of y, which is 5y over 7, right? And x can also be solved in terms of y using the first equation, which is actually 2y over 3, right? Basically, you have 5y over 7 times 3 over 2y. So cancel a y here. Then this will give you 15 over 14, right? And the second method is to use elimination. So seeing the y in the numerator of one of our given equations and in the denominator of the other, we can notice that we can eliminate y by multiplying the two equations, just as we eliminated variables from the systems of linear equations by adding them. So this gives us x over y times y over z equals, well, we can just insert the two ratios there, which is 2 over 3 times 7/5, right? On the other hand, we know that we can cancel y here, so that is x/z, right? Which equals 14/15. And of course, then z/x is just 15/14, right? You could use either method to solve a question like this. You get it? Okay, if you don't have any questions, let's consider even more complex ones. So what is the first time after 10 o'clock at which the minute hand and the hour hand of a clock point in the exact same direction? Okay, any ideas? Okay, let's have a look at the solution together. So suppose the minute hand points at minute M. We know the hour hand is between hour 10 and 11 on the clock, right? But we need to know exactly where it's pointing. Specifically, we need to figure out at what minute the hour hand points when the minute hand points at M. So we can start by figuring out how our hand moves. As the minute hand goes from 0 to 0 minutes all the way around the clock to 60 minutes. The hour hand will cover 1 hour, right? Moving from 10 to 11. In minutes, the distance on the clock between 10 o'clock hour and 11 o'clock hour is just 5 minutes, right? So this length is just 5 minutes for the minute hand. Therefore, when the minute hand covers 60 minutes on the face of a clock, the hour hand moves only 5 minutes. So the hour hand moves 1/12 the distance the minute hand moves. So we have this relationship. The distance hour hand moves, well, by distance I mean the angles. over the distance minute hand moves should equal 5/60, right? Which is 1/12. We now know that in the m minutes after 10 o'clock, the hour hand moves m over 12 minutes with the hour hand. It moved m over 12 past 10 o'clock. Since 10 o'clock is at 10 by 5 equals 50 minutes, point on the clock. So m minutes after 10 o'clock, the hour hand points at 50 plus m over 12 minutes, right? Since the minute hand points at m minutes, we must have this relationship. 50 plus m over 12 should equal m, right? And we need to solve m here. One equation, one unknown variable. We can solve m is actually 54 plus 6/11, right? Therefore, we know the hand of the clock point at 10:50 plus 6/11. So this is our final solution. This is the desired time. You get it? Okay, next let's have a look at conversion factors. Sometimes we're given information with one set of units, such as feet, but need that information in terms of other units like inches or meters, centimeters, something else. And conversion factors give us an easy way to convert from one set of units to another. A conversion factor is a ratio of quantities that is equal to 1. For example, 1 foot equals 12 inches. So we can write 1 foot over 12 inches equals 1, right? Or 1 foot equals 12 inches if you multiply that to the other side. You get it? And now let's use this concept to solve some questions to illustrate how we can convert between different units. So here, suppose 1 foot is 12 inches. How many feet are 64 inches? So question like this is quite straightforward, right? Because we know 1 foot over 12 inches is 1, right? So in order to get 64 inches, we could multiply both the denominator and numerator using 12, 64 over 12, right? It still equals 1, right? That means you have 64 inches equals 64 over 12 feet, which gives us 16 over 3 feet, right? So how about the second question? There are approximately 454 grams in a pound. How many grams are in 0.35 pounds? Round the answer to the nearest gram. Again, we could convert this unit like this. 0.35 pounds is approximately 0.35 pounds times 0.454 grams in 1 pound, right? So in this way, we could cancel these two units. So that's approximately 159. We only have one unit here, which is grams, right? So in this way, we converted the pounds in grams. Do you get it? Again, this is just an approximation, not an exact answer. Any questions? Okay, if not, let's have a look at the next one. There are approximately 3.28 feet in a meter. Determine to the nearest square feet. How many square feet are there in 28 square meters? So basically we wish to convert 28 square meters into square feet, right? Since there are approximately 3.28 feet in a meter, so 3.28 feet over 1 meter gives us approximately 1, right? So approximately 1. If we had to convert 22 meters into feet, we would only have to multiply this conversion factor once. However, we must convert square meters into square feet. Therefore, we must multiply by our conversion factor twice in order to get squared meter, right? So 28 squared meters is approximately 28 square meters times 3.28 feet per 1 meter squared in order to cancel the square meters, right? So if you cancel square meters here, then that's approximately 301. So here's a unit becomes squared feet, right? You get it? Any questions? Okay, if not, let's consider another one. Dr. Kane has ordered a special medicine from Europe. Comes with strict instructions to use 32 milliliters per kilogram that a patient weighs. However, all of Dr. Kane's scales only tell weight in pounds. There are approximately 0.4536 kilograms in a pound to the nearest 0.1 milliliter. How many milliliters per pound should Dr. Kane use? Again, this is a unit conversion problem, right? We have originally 32 milliliters per 1 kilogram. You need to convert it to millimeters per pound, right? Okay, let's have a look at the solution together. So initially we have 32 milliliters per 1 kilograms, and that's approximately 32 milliliters per 1 kilograms. You could times a 0.4536 kilograms per 1 pound, right? This way we can cancel a kilograms here and successfully convert the unit to milliliters per 1 pound. So that's approximately 14.5 milliliters per 1 pound, or 14.5 milliliters per pound. Did you get it? Alright, next let's have a look at the concept of percent. Percent literally means per hundred. Percent is just a shorthand way of writing the ratio of a number to 100. For example, 20% means 20, 25% means 25 out of 100, or 25 over 100. We say that 1 is 25% of 4 because 1 over 4 equals 25 over 100, right? Similarly, because 3 over 6 equals 50 over 100, 3 is just the 50% of 6, right? We typically use this sign or this symbol here to denote the percent, like this. 25% is written like this. This basically means 25 over 100. So basically percent means per hundred. Specifically, if A is X percent of B, then we can write A over B equals X over 100. Or A equals X over 100 times B. Did you get it? Or A equals X percent times B. So you could use any way, okay? Alright, so let's consider some very straightforward, very simple examples. First, find the number that is 60% of 250. So the answer is obvious, right? So it's just to use 250 times 60%. Then you get the number that is 6% of 250, which is 150, right? Very simple concept. Did you get it? Of course, you could also use 250 times 60% is just 60 over 100, right? This will also give you 150. You could use either way. And next, let's consider two other questions. So what percent of 240 is 48? And next, 36 is 120% of what number? Okay, let's consider the first one. What percent of 240 is 48? So we could use just the 48 over 240, right? And this is approximately, well, we can cancel a 4 here. This gives us 12, and 60, then cancel a 12, and this gives us 5. So just 1 over 5, right? 1 over 5 is 0.2, and 0.2 is 20%. Did you get it? So 48 is 20% of 240, right? And suppose this number is x, then 120% of x gives us 36. Of course, we can solve x, right? X is just 36 over 120%, and we know that 120% is just 1.2, so that'll give us 30, right? Any questions? Alright, if no questions, let's consider another one. Question A, when we increase 24 by 75%, what number do we get? And the question B, when we decrease 60 by 40%, what number do we get? C, can you find an expression for the numbers that results when we increase x by k%, and an expression for the numbers that result when we decrease x by k%? Okay, let's consider them together because all of the questions are pretty straightforward, right? So when we increase 24 by 75%, this means the new number becomes 24 plus 24 times 75%, which is actually simplified to 24 times 1 plus 75%, right? And this gives us 42. For the second question, decrease 60 by 40% means 60 minus 60 times 40%, right? And this gives us, we can put 60 in front, so that gives us 60 times 1 minus 40%, and this gives us 36, right? For the third question, if we increase x by k%, according to the previous two questions, we know that if we increase a number by k%, that's actually x plus x times k%, which can be simplified by 2x times just 1 plus k%, right? Or you could also use x times 1 plus k over 100. Could use either way. And if you decrease x by k%, that's actually x minus x times k%, which is x times 1 minus k%. Of course, you could also use x times 1 minus k over 100. You could use either way, right? So that gives us a new concept here. If a number x is increased by k%, then the result becomes x times 1 plus k over 100. Or you could also use x times 1 plus k%. And similarly, if x is decreased by k%, then the result is x times 1 minus k over 100. Or you could also use x times 1 minus k%. You could use either way, okay? Did you get it? All right, then let's consider some other percentage problems. So first, let's have a look at a tax problem. I need to make $450 per week after tax in order to pay all my bills. The income tax rate is 25%. What is the smallest pre-tax weekly salary I can earn and still be able to pay my bills after I pay my income tax? Well, in order to facilitate our discussion, let's use X be the pre-tax pay, okay? Eat it. All right, so basically we need the after-tax pay must cover the bills, right? Which is 450. So after the tax, I only have 75, or actually 1 minus 25% of the pre-tax pay X, right? That must equal $450. And of course, one equation, one unknown variable, you should be able to solve X. So X is just 450 over 75%, right? Because 1 is just 100%. 100% minus 25% is 75%, right? And that gives us 450 over 75% is just 0.75. And this number equals $600, right? So we need at least we need $600 before tax. Any questions? Alright, so let's consider another question here. Dr. Jekyll has 180 milliliters of a solution that is 20% acid. How many milliliters of the solution must be replaced with a 100% acid solution in order to have a solution that is 30% acid? Again, in order to facilitate our discussion, let's use letter X to denote the amount of the solution that must be replaced. Alright? The unit is ml. Are you sure? Are you sure it's 18?
Yes.
Okay, so in the end, we still have 180 milliliters of solution, right? After you replace the solution. So we must determine how much of the solution will be acid after X of the original solution is replaced with 100% acid solution, right? So in the original solution, we have 180 milliliter times 20%, which is 36 milligrams. This is the amount of acid in the original solution, right? When we remove X milliliters of the original 20% acid solution, we take out this amount of acid, which is 0.2x, right? So this only leaves us 36 minus 0.2x remaining acid, right? When we add X milliliters of 100% acid, the total amount of acid becomes 36 minus 0.2x plus X amount of acid in milliliters, right? So that equals 36 plus 0.8x milliliters of acid. Did you get it? So since our new solution must be 180 milliliters of 30% acid, our new solution must have 180 times 0.3, which is 54 milliliters of acid, right? So solving this equation tells us that X equals 22.5 milliliters, right? So 22.5 milliliters of the original solution must be replaced with 100% acid. Did you get it? Any questions? Okay, if no questions, let's call it end for today.